This is the brief on how Rodri became one of the best midfielders in football. You know, as the 2024 Ballon d'Or winner and World Cup Golden Ball recipient, Rodri is literally the indispensable heartbeat of both Manchester City and Spain, proving that a defensive player can absolutely be the most crucial guy on the pitch. So, first, let's look at his elite spatial awareness as a tactical metronome. Operating as a single pivot, he doesn't just react to what's happening. He anticipates plays 2 steps ahead. Honestly, he's the ultimate get-out-of-jail-free card for his teammates. If a play hits a dead end, just dumping the ball to Rodri guarantees a smart, safe redistribution. Second, we've got to connect that tactical brain to his physical execution. See, unlike traditional, smaller, tactical midfielders, Rodri stands 191 centimeters tall and is built like a middleweight boxer. He doesn't just rely on positioning, he physically dominates ground duels in the crazy demanding Premier League. This makes him virtually unpressable, all while launching attacks with a passing accuracy that's regularly in the mid-90s. Finally, looking at his history-making output, he is a true clutch generalist. If you contrast him with past specialists like Sergio Busquets, Rodri does the whole shebang. He reads, tackles, passes, and actually scores. He has a crazy habit of netting season-defining clutch goals, like that massive Champions League final winner, which elevated him to become the very first defensive midfielder to win the Ballon d'Or in 28 years. By perfectly combining brain, brawn, and a clutch finishing touch, Rodri hasn't just mastered the defensive midfield role, he's completely redefined it.
Imagine being named, like, the absolute best football player on the planet, winning the Ballon d'Or, the World Cup MVP, and doing it all without ever relying on a single step over, a breakaway sprint, or some flashy highlight reel.
It's almost unheard of today.
Right. Well, welcome to today's deep dive. We are pulling from a massive stack of sources you shared with us. Reddit tactical debates, advanced tournament stats, and deep dive analytics to decode a modern football phenomenon.
It's a great stack of material, honestly.
Yeah, it really is. And our mission today is to figure out how a player who completely ignores the spectacular just cemented his legacy on the sport's biggest stages. So, okay, let's unpack this. How exactly does Rodri dominate the pitch so completely?
Well, to really grasp that, you have to kind of force your eyes away from the ball for a second. We need to understand how he physically and mentally controls the pitch. Rodri plays what's called a single pivot role.
Meaning he's the lone guy in front of the defense.
Exactly. He operates as the lone anchor sitting just in front of the back line, and he's tasked with single-handedly linking those defenders to the attackers.
Right, and doing that requires a very specific build. I mean, I love the analogy from one of those Reddit threads you sent us. They described him as a middleweight boxer playing chess.
Oh, that is the perfect way to put it.
Because if an opponent tries to outmuscle him, he has this massive 191 centimeter frame to just, win the brawl. But if they try to outthink him, he's already moved the pieces to trap them.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here is how he marries that sheer physical force with this relentless, calculated movement. During the 2026 World Cup, he ran a staggering 96 kilometers just to maintain that perfect structure.
Wait, hold on. I need to challenge that a bit. Because if he's supposed to be this perfectly positioned chess-playing anchor running 96 kilometers, just sounds like a guy desperately chasing the game. How is he controlling anything if he's doing that much running?
But that's the illusion. He isn't sprinting after the ball at all. That 96 kilometers is built on constant, tiny micro-adjustments.
Oh, so he's just always shifting.
Exactly. He is perpetually scanning the field, taking 2 steps left, 3 steps right, while the ball is, 60 yards away.
Wow. Okay.
He ensures he's standing exactly where the opponent wants to launch a counterattack before they even win the ball back. That's how he won 80% of his ground duels in the World Cup final. He just suffocates danger before it sparks.
That's wild. But if he is doing that much preventative work, that defensive positioning isn't just about stopping goals, right? It actually becomes the foundation of how Spain scores them.
It absolutely does.
So how does a guy doing all that defensive dirty work become the team's primary offensive launchpad?
Yeah.
In the tactical breakdowns you gave us, they called him the ultimate get-out-of-jail-free card.
Well, because if a teammate is trapped under high pressure, they know exactly where Rodri is at all times. They just dump the ball to him, and when he gets that ball in the opponent's half, his tactical mastery takes over.
Right.
It basically comes down to a Spanish concept called pausa.
Pausa. So like the literal pause.
Yeah, it's the psychological discipline to hold the ball just a fraction of a second longer than a normal player would.
Oh, to draw them in.
Right. He waits for the defending team to panic and step toward him. By drawing that pressure, he instantly opens up space behind them for his teammates to exploit.
So he uses his own gravity to pull defenders out of position and then just slices them open.
Yep, and the numbers reflect that perfectly. In the World Cup, he completed 91.9% of his passes in the final third.
That is absurd for that area of the pitch.
It really is. When Spain is trying to break down a low block, which is when an opponent parks all their defenders deep in a compact shape near the penalty box, Rodri sits right on the edge of the area.
Just waiting.
Endlessly recycling possession, yeah. Patiently probing until he finds that one perfect line-breaking pass to dismantle them.
Man, because he flawlessly executes both of these roles, the defensive anchor and the attacking launch pad, he's transcended his position entirely. Here's where it gets really interesting, though. He won the 2024 Ballon d'Or. He was the first defensive midfielder to win that award since 1996.
Which is huge. And he proved exactly why he deserved it by taking home the 2026 World Cup Golden Ball as the tournament's best player, too.
Adding to the legacy.
Yeah, just look at Spain's 1-0 victory over Argentina in that final. He attempted 106 passes with a 95.3% accuracy rate. But his most crucial contribution to securing that trophy wasn't even a pass.
Let me guess the tackle.
You got it. Dispossessing Lionel Messi in the 92nd minute as Messi approached the penalty area.
Wow. Taking the ball off Messi in stoppage time of a World Cup final is just cinematic. And it puts him in an incredibly exclusive club. Rodri is now one of only 11 men in history to win the World Cup, the Champions League, and the Ballon d'Or.
It's unbelievable. It really highlights the invisible architecture of a football match. When you do the fundamental, simple things at an elite level, you dictate the entire reality of the game.
So what does this all mean? It proves to you that true football dominance isn't about step-overs or flashy tricks. It's about the hundreds of small, correct decisions made flawlessly over 90 minutes. Which leaves you with this thought to mull over. If a player who dictates the game's rhythm through positioning, patience, and simple passes is now the undisputed king of football, does this signal the end of the era where pure goal-scoring superstars dictate how we value the sport?
If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please consider subscribing to Decision45. Your support means the world to us and helps us keep creating high-quality content just like this. Don't forget to hit that like button, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe so you never miss an update.